Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks, bringing you your daily Tesla report for Tuesday, June 13th, 2023. Before I click on the charts, please click like, please click subscribe, please share content with friends and colleagues, and please check out wickedstocks.com, where we offer a full suite of both daily and weekly analytical videos just like this: daily Triple Q, daily SPY report, weekly S&P 500, weekly NASDAQ 100, weekly TLT, that is the long bond ETF, and two individual stock picks every week that you never see on YouTube that cater to the 3 to 5 week swing trader to 3 to 5 month near-term investor. Check out wickedstocks.com. Now let's check out the daily Tesla report. I'm going to jump to the big picture and just remind you that this is a weekly chart. We settled above this long-term descending channel top a few weeks ago, 203.08, and dropping weekly, then indicating our first stop in terms of the big picture, the low 270s, probably on to the 414.49 high eventually. The question is, how will this market treat the low 270s? It can fall off from here on a monthly, possibly quarterly basis. We could, within a matter of a month or two, fall back into the low 200 area once testing the low 270s. A settlement above the 270-137 channel top should result in meaningful price acceleration, upside price acceleration, and I would expect by the end of the year or sooner a retest of the 414.49 all-time high. So that is the big picture. And I'm going to look now at the daily chart. This is the daily chart. You can see this mid band. I don't know if I have a zoomed in. There we are. This is better. 241.05 to 242.83. Nothing more than mid bands that are parallel with this rising channel. These tend to work pretty well in terms of containing intermediate activity. We gapped above this area last Friday. It is 241.05 to 242.83, able to contain selling through the week, and above which 258.15, which is a longer term 50% Fibonacci level on the daily chart over the extremes of the last 2 years. 258.15 expected over the next few days, possibly today, and this 270.87 rising channel top over the next couple of weeks. So let's talk the day itself. Upside 252.42 can contain intraday strength. We can fall back from there, back into the low 240s perhaps on an intraday basis with the presently relatively heightened volatility. Pushing through 252.42 would signal 258.15 intraday, where a daily high can be made. Now, there's always a possibility, given the longer term scope of this Fibonacci level, that we may top out there into later week. And if so, we could fall back once again into the low 240s within several days of doing so. We could perhaps fill this wedge out into later week, but if we close above 258.15, it would be consistent with the overall expectation, the overall bullish dynamic, and I would expect then this 270.87 rising channel top within 3 to 5 days of closing above 258.15. This area, once again on the weekly chart, converges with a long-term descending two-thirds speed line, trend defining in its own right. This upper area well suited to contain monthly, possibly quarterly buying pressures. So, I'd mentioned a few weeks ago when we closed above 203.08 how you could buy 265, 270, 275 out of the money calls. That is still the play. And in fact, holding above this lower 240s should result in reaching into the low 270s by the end of next week, by the end of this week, if we close today above 258.15. So that is the dynamic. You could treat 258.15 as kind of a 3 to 5 day swing trade, or for day traders anyway, buying the low 240s, selling 258.15, closing above 258.15. You're going long for the next few days into the low 270s, where you can take profits if you happen to be long this market or you bought those out of the money calls, and you could also perhaps play the short side at that point in time. I have no problem in, once we push into the low 270s, at that point you'll get some very good pricing on, say, 200 out of the money puts that don't expire for at least 3 months. I would probably go further out than there just to eliminate the theta element, that is the time decay element, on your out of the money option premium. So in terms of the downside, I'm going to go back to the kind of the blown up version of this. Let's take a look. I'm going to go through these charts and show we got 223.55. If we close below 241.05, we also have a steeply rising channel bottom at 240.09. Now, it is rising so steeply that yes, it can contain session weakness, but I'll go out on a limb here and say, that if we do close below 241.05, let's face it, that is 6 cents higher than 240.99. If we close below 241.05, I'm going to call that our downward pivot point. But we did throw in this rising channel bottom at 240.99 that can contain intraday slippage, certainly below 241.05, and we could come off of 240.99 and close higher on the day, perhaps, if we test it in the morning. But once again, a mere daily settlement below 241.05. I'm expecting 223.55 within 3 to 5 days, say by the end of the week. And as I was mentioning before, closing the week out, let's say later in the week, below this 241.05 level, because it does show up, on the weekly chart. Wrong image, at 242.55. If we close below this area on Friday, I'm anticipating this market to unravel over the next few weeks back into the low 200 area. So if you bought those out of the money calls and maybe you've taken some profits, maybe you're holding out. If we close below 241.05, I would recommend that you do take some profits anyway, maybe all of them, because you'll be able to regroup again in a few weeks, I think, back into the 203.08 area, which is once again the long-term channel top that can contain selling if tested over the next few weeks through the rest of the year, perhaps, and when we could round back up again to new highs following a test of 203.08. Once again, 252.42, our intraday pivot point, below which the low 240s in reach. And, if we happen to push above, I'm going to find the right chart here. If we happen to push above 252.42, 258.15 in reach, where a daily high can be made. Finally, closing above 258.15. No good reason to be short this market as we move into later week. 270.87 then expected within 3 to 5 days, where this market actually converges with a long-term speed line at 270.49 that can contain monthly, possibly quarterly buying pressures, and if settled above, should result in meaningful upward price acceleration as we move through summer trade and into the into the fourth quarter. I think that pretty much summarizes it for Tuesday's Tesla Report. I'll be back again tomorrow, Wednesdays. Please click like, share, subscribe, and check out wickedstocks.com. You have a great day.